So we just talked about this mixed white balance scenario, and now we are talking how to correct this by using corrective gels. So the standard example would really be, or a typical example, you have your subject in front of you, and behind your subject there is the sunset. It's very warm light, and you want to illuminate your subject because the sunset is much brighter than your subject. If you're using your standard flash with very blue light, the subject will get very cold, okay? So a solution is to use a corrective gel. Another example would be you've got an artificial light source like a light tube, which usually gives out very greenish light, and if you illuminate your subject with your standard flash, which is more bluish light, you will have a mismatch, so you can also correct this one. But let's stick to the sunset. I've got a corrective filter here, a gel, so which is a standard accessory of the flash I'm using. So it's basically, as you can see, it's pretty warm, so it's yellowish, and I put this in front of my flash over here. So now I've got warm light from that side and warm light from this side. So I will now take a photo, with my, and also one with my gray card, and one over here. Now let's check it out and capture one. So this image is the image from the previous lesson, where you can see that we've got still the cold light of the flash from the right side and the warm light of the studio lamp from the other side, because there wasn't any gel being used. So in the next image you can see how it looks after I attached the corrective gel. So it looks a little bit greenish, but it looks much warmer than before. So as you compare, that's a very cold light, warm light, cold light. So let's check out what happens if we sample the white balance from the gray card. So now it looks much better. So it's not as green as before. This light is a little bit bright. It's a little bit warmer, a little bit more reddish, but it looks much better right now. So I hope that this shows you what I mean by using corrective gels. So we basically warmed up this light, so we can match this light a little bit better. And if you want to match them correctly, you would have to use a set of corrective gels and find the correct one. If you want to do it very technically, you can also purchase a measurement instrument which measures the white balance exactly in values and the color temperature, so you can choose the correct corrective gel. And an important thing I want to talk about is that the corrective gels are completely different from using creative gels, so like this pink, for example. Yeah. So if you want to use creative gels, like having color effects in your image, that's completely a different topic from corrective gels. So in case you want to use these color effects, you have to set your white balance to a value that represents the effect the best. Which means if you're using flash, for example, and you're using no ambient light, and you know your flashes have got a light temperature of 5,500 Kelvin or something like this, set your white balance to these values, and that way you will get an ideal or best representation of the creative gels you're using. Because in this moment you want to have the colors represented as they are. What we did before was matching light sources to get the best representation to this warmer light, in this case, what we did. When using creative gels, you want the colorful light being represented the best way you can do. So in this way you have to use the white balance in between. So in most cases it's like 6,000 or 5,500 Kelvin, which is coming from the white balance of the light sources you're using, which is the flash in these cases. But you can also work creatively with these. So as you have seen in the image before, the background got pretty blue. So these are also things you can do. So if, for example, you're outside shooting and you want the background to be a little bit dark blue at night, for example, you can simply gel your flashes to a warm light and then set the white balance later on, that the skin tones are being represented correctly. So you basically set your white balance to a gray card value that's being caught by the warm light, and that way you're coloring the background basically blue. So these are the things you can do, and you always have to check out what you want to do in camera and what you want to do later in post, because you can also mask out your subject later in post and then color the background differently. So these are the options you've got. Thank you for watching this chapter. Please like and subscribe. If you got any questions, just shoot me a comment under the video and check out the description for further information. And now I'm happy to see you in the next video.